You know what? I very much overslept. I don't care. Because it was totally worth it. So I guess I could probably go off and say that my low and my high is the fact that I got to see the After Midnight finale, which I'll get into talking about more in a minute. Let's see, what was my act of kindness? Let's see. Technically I went to Sam's Club yesterday, and I sort of held it because I'm walking the building. Those are automatic doors. So I walked in. There was someone behind me, and technically I held the door for them in that regard. Okay, so that was my act of kindness. Don't worry, I'll get into talking about Dakota Johnson and Hot Ones in a few minutes. Actually, I'll do Hot Ones first. What am I thinking? I'll do Hot Ones first. Well, as I said earlier, Dakota Johnson was on Hot Ones, and before I get into this, I need to give her major props. Actually, what am I doing? I should put this on here. A little more dignified that way. Because literally through the entire episode, she was saying, like, she's scared, she doesn't want to do this, I can't handle spice, all that, and you know what? Given how much she complained, if she were to stop, I wouldn't have said anything bad, but she made it through. She did it. I mean, she said she's never going to do it again. Although what's funny is, she asked if anyone's ever come back to do it again. Actually, a few people. Gordon Ramsay, Bert Kreischer, Kevin Hart. Technically, Bert Kreischer was before the stream movie. T-Pain did it 3 times. Seth Rogen did it 3 times. Bryan Cranston's he was he only named, I think it was like Gordon Ramsay and Kevin Hart were like the 2 people he named twice, who did it more than once. And Dakota Johnson's like, no. Well, don't worry, Miss Johnson. I'm personally never going to ask you to do it again. I can't speak for the rest. She's not going to watch this. I can't speak for the rest of the internet, but I personally would never ask you to do that again. Okay? You've got someone on your side. And which what was I going to say? Sorry, I was really excited. That being said, you did Dakota Johnson phenomenal. Dakota Johnson was awesome. And, because, her father is Don Johnson, the guy from Miami Vice. So, it's great that I learned a few things about acting. Like, in the movie that she's in right now, I learned about high-end matchmaking and how people are actually more honest to their matchmaker than they are to their therapist, which, we don't have any matchmakers in my area, so I really wouldn't know how to pontificate on that. But that is interesting. I mean, does anyone really tell everything, and I mean everything, to their therapist? Okay, I thought so. Core memory of process of making films is she saw because she was on movie sets a lot as a kid. She saw it. She's like, I want to do that. She knew at the early age, she knew what she wanted to do, which is good for her. And she learned how to drive a golf cart at the age of 6, which that is impressive. When did my grandparents get? Because my grandparents had a golf cart too at the lake. It's still there, actually. I think it might have been 10, 11, 12 when we got the golf cart. I don't know. Let's see. She talked about the differences between the 1940s German expressionist dance that she had to do for Suspiria versus doing ballet, where like ballet is more like the motions are like defying gravity, whereas the German expressionist dance is there's no A count. It's because like 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Where an A count is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Listen, you're listening to a guy who's had plenty of experiences in singing, dancing, and theater. Okay, like I know what an 8 count is. In fact, I actually knew more than a lot of people gave me credit for back in the day. I'll say that much. I was just lazy and acted like I didn't care. Anyway, I didn't care. Let's see. Also, the expressionist dance is more angular and primal. And again, ballet is more fluid. And, there's a touch of delicacy to it. Let's see. They talked about being a producer and having say on the final product, and she prefers that way because like she wants more creative input into a project. Which, in this day and age, it's harder and harder to not only make a hit, but make a hit where you actually have like the creative freedom to do what you want. Which I'll get to that a little bit later. She talked about how even in serious films, like there is a struggle not to break character because through laughing. I mean, in comedies, yeah, it's easy to break character. Well, obviously you should never break character, but it's likely you'll break character in a comedy because your cast is making you laugh. In a serious movie, like that's funny if you break character. I mean, again, that's how film works, and you just keep reshooting until you get what you want. For this fifth wing, sixth wing didn't really talk about any questions. She just talked about going to this one Hot Wings cafe where she's from, and she would have lots of ranch. Not sure how I feel about that because, again, upstate New Yorker, we believe that there are two kinds of, as an upstate New Yorker, we believe there are two kinds of people in this world. There are those that eat wings with blue cheese, and those who we don't want to party with. Anyway, okay. Remember I said earlier how she wants more creative input as a producer when she makes movies? They talked about how Hollywood really is very risk averse in making movies. Because, and these are Dakota Johnson's words, creative decisions are made by a committee and by those who don't really watch a lot of movies. They just see what does well and they keep that going. Which, on the one hand, yes, if something does well, why would you stop it? But there's a way to do that in a way that's smart. Like, keep doing some of that same stuff, but try something new with it. Like, what's an example? Up, down, left, right. Tried and true up, down, left, right. How about instead of up, down, left, right, how about up, down, up, left and right? A little flair there, Like, it's new. Like, not a very good example, but the point is, it's something different, it's something new. And you really can create a lot more when you're allowed to try something new. Like, you need to evolve with your craft. Like, it's actually why a lot of Adam Sandler's movies aren't very good. Because how many movies did he make in, like, the 2000s and 2010s where he was doing the same old thing? The audience wants to see new things, so he has to do new things. I mean, he's had a few good movies as of late. I mean, Uncut Gems, You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah, even though that was really more of his daughter. Which, again, like, it's Summer and I forget the other daughter's name. I'm sorry, but those two girls can act. Like, it's very clear that they got talent from their father. I said this before, I'll say it again. Like, Adam Sandler's kids, like, they definitely have acting chops. I can totally see them doing well, like, Hollywood-wise in the future. Anyway, let's see. All right. The Bomb, which, I'll be honest, it was at this episode I saw Dakota Johnson eat that way. I'm like, oh, Dakota Johnson's like, oh, but you know what? She stayed in there. She did. She fought through it. Good on you. So Sean talked about, like, what's the most ridiculous purchase she ever did, and she got like a vintage piece of furniture from Italy that took 6 months to get to America. It was a credenza, of all things. Which I actually had to look up what a credenza was. And yeah, I can kind of see why it would take 6 months to get to where you gotta go. Especially going from Italy to America. She talked about practical skills in preparing for a role that she could use in real life, and that was stunt driving, which is really cool. She also talked about how she was actually on James Corden's show with Gordon Ramsay, and it didn't occur to her until after the fact that she could have said, if Gordon Ramsay and James Corden got married, Gordon's name would be Gordon Corden. Yeah, that's funny. That's actually really funny. And finally, Sean asked, like, what's the enduring appeal of a happy ending? Which, I mean, personally, this is one I myself could answer, but Dakota Johnson answered this very well. She said, like, people want a happy ending for themselves. Not that kind of happy ending. But, like, you want good things to happen. Like, we want good things to go our way. We do. I mean, I can tell you right now, you know, yeah, I'm a single guy living in an apartment. You know, I want nice things. You know, I want maybe a girlfriend and maybe, actually, I do like where I live, but if I were to move somewhere else, it wouldn't bother me whatsoever. Point is, we all want to have, like, a happy ending. And because we want to feel good. That's all it is. Like, that's why that's why I hate it when people, like, overhype up, like, say, like, you know what? I think I get why, even though people say Titanic is a good movie, there's also as many people that say it's a horrible movie. Because, let's be real, if the Titanic sinks and practically everybody dies, but it's such a good movie. The Titanic sinks and practically everybody dies. In what way is that a happy ending? I ask you. Although speaking of happy endings, I need to talk about After Midnight because I have many things to say about it. So, as you guys probably may or may not know, way before I even started making videos of my own, there was a show on Comedy Central called At Midnight. Ran for 5 seasons and 600 episodes, and I can say I saw all 600 episodes. Not many people can say that. So naturally, at the beginning of 2024, when they rebooted as After Midnight, only with Taylor Thompson, the original host was Chris Hardwick, now it's Taylor Thompson, I immediately watched it, and you know what? It felt like I was back in the 2010s again. Because I had a blast watching it. And there were some decisions that were made throughout the run of the show that I did find questionable, like getting rid of For the Win for the Ultimate Challenge at the end. I mean, the reason why it was called For the Win is because it was quite literally for the win. And don't get me wrong, The Ultimate Challenge isn't a bad name, it's just kind of generic. You know? But, you know what? It worked. It worked for 200 episodes. Which I can say I saw them all. So 600 episodes of At Midnight, 200 episodes of After Midnight, 800 episodes altogether. I've seen them all. And I am one of the few, probably ever, who can say that. And I had fun and each and every episode they had, I had a lot of fun. I mean, some people are wondering, like, why would they stop a show? Like, it was literally renewed for like a second season almost immediately. So why would you stop, especially when you easily could do a third? Well, it's because Taylor Tomlinson can't really sustain it. I mean, of course she'd leave. Literally in last night's finale episode, she was literally 7.5 minutes of her saying how thankful she was that she got to do it. She loved to do it. She got to meet so many people. She had a lot of fun. Like, there was not one bad thing she said about being there whatsoever. Unless you want to count the fact that she said that she couldn't sustain it. Which is a way of her saying, like, she has a career outside of doing the show. I mean, she's a stand-up comedian. She tours a lot. You know, she has to be able to do that too. Which, you know what? We all forge our own paths in life. This is the path that Taylor Tomlinson wants to go. I would never judge that in any way, shape, or form. Not to mention, she has come out, she's bisexual, so as an ally, I fully support her, whatever she does. Which reminds me, I hope everyone's having a happy Pride Month. I'm actually going to try and go to a Pride event today. I'm excited to go. I mean, I have a bunch of things to do beforehand, including upload this video. I'm going to get to do it. With all that said, 200 episodes of After Midnight, and I've got to see them all. Granted, some of those episodes I would, listen to while I was like showering and doing stuff like that. But I still got to listen to it. I still got to hear the jokes. I still laughed at everything. I mean, in a way, it's kind of hard to say which finale was better, the original At Midnight finale or After Midnight. Because At Midnight, it literally had like an hour plus long episode trying to get like as many people who had been on the show to come back as possible. Meanwhile, After Midnight ended with another tournament, which I don't have many bad things to say about After Midnight. There is one thing I do need to point out. It was at the very end of the very first tournament After Midnight had. It was basically their way of doing March Madness. The Ultimate Challenge was between Greta Titleman and Bob the Drag Queen. A white woman, and a tall black man dressed in drag. Which is awesome. It is. We really are living in good times. However, and I am not the only person who's complaining about this. There were so many people on Reddit complaining about this. The challenge was, hold on, I have an idea. I need you guys to visually see this. Okay. Okay, this will work. I'm looking for one that'll take up a whole screen. Hold on. Alright, this will probably have to be the best image I can make. So, the last challenge for that particular tournament was Greta Tileman and Bob the Drag Queen had to find some location, I think that was, like, pretty much somewhere in this general area. Meanwhile, Greta Tileman and Bob the... Sorry, advertisements. Okay. Darn it. Okay. Okay. Sorry. How do I get rid of things that keep popping up? Darn it. Bear with me. Okay, well, the blocking advertising that's like playing right there. So basically, Greta Tileman and Bob the Drag Queen had to find a place that was right here, but they were both standing right here. But because Bob the Drag Queen was closer, here, he won, right? That's not how a map is supposed to work. If the location on the map was in this general area right here, there's like a video playing silently. I'm trying to cover it up, so bear with me. If the place they're looking for is on this side and they're standing all the way over here, the person farther that way is going to be the winner. So Greta Tileman actually won. I mean, I don't want to get into semantics, but you wrongfully took away an award that was supposed to go to a white woman, and you wrongfully gave the award to a tall black man dressed in drag. Sometimes being woke can be very stupid, let's be real here. But, let's call it what it is. After Midnight done messed up there. And here's the thing, I'm not the only person who's called out After Midnight on this. There were so many people on the internet, particularly from Reddit, that were making fun of the cast and crew behind After Midnight for not knowing how a map works. Which you probably think, well, Nick, aren't you taking this a little too far? I would say that, except it was literally like several weeks after the fact that it happened up to that point, right? And they played another game like that. And Taylor Tomlinson still brought it up. Which means even after Taylor Tomlinson admitted that they were wrong at that point in the beginning, people were still complaining about it. So, in not reading a map properly, you gave power to flat earthers. You, again, wrongfully took away an award that was supposed to go to a white woman, and you wrongfully gave it to a tall black man dressed in drag. So basically, in not reading a map, you gave power to flat earthers, and you were both sexist and technically kind of racist. Huh. Funny, wasn't this show supposed to take place in Los Angeles? And aren't we supposed to be celebrating Pride Month? Well, you gotta take the good with the bad sometimes with Pride Month. That's how it works. So I'm glad that after they played that one map game one last time, after that one tournament, they never went to it again, which, good. So, that's really the one big complaint I have about that show. Is that, again, you gave power to flat earthers and you both were sexist and racist, but, that's how it is. I mean, the show's over now, so there really is no way they really could ever fix that mistake. Unless Bob the Drag Queen were to publicly announce that he should not have won and give that award to Greta Tileman. But that would be taking away an award that, again, to fix the problem, you would have to take away that award to a black man dressed in drag and give it to a white woman. There really is no proper way to fix it. Unless Bob the Drag Queen were to do it himself, which he's not going to do that. So, we are where we are, right? Sorry I had to say that, but again, that's just what happens. But with that said, the finale was wonderful. It was, it was a great, brilliant send-off. To the cast and crew after a minute, you guys were awesome. Laura Peak, shout out to Laura Peak for being the opening announcer for the show. And the time she was on the show, too, she was really good. Taylor Tomlinson, wherever the road may take you from this point on, you've earned it. You were a phenomenal host. I can't wait to see what you do next. If it's a stand-up special or whatever it is you decide to do afterwards, I'm totally on board to watching it. Because as a comedian, I think you're phenomenal. If by chance you watch, she's not watching. If she was, though, this is the truth, though. You really are a phenomenal comedian. The question is, what now? I mean, After Midnight really was a successful show, and was there really any reason why they couldn't find a new host? Well, really, no. In fact, Taylor Tomlinson was even suggesting people who could replace her. But I guess it's also that sentimentality. Yeah, you could get a new host, but you could never replace Taylor Tomlinson. And yeah, that's true. But that doesn't mean people don't want to see it. So, I don't know what CBS is going to do from this point on. In fact, after this, I have no reason to keep my CBS app anymore, because that's how I was watching. It was on so yeah, I actually never watched the show. Until last night, I never watched After Midnight when it came on at 12:37. It always came on, I would watch on the app the next day, on the CBS app, and I did that. But you know what? It's the final episode. I should watch it as it was meant to be seen on TV. And I did. I went to bed at like 2 a.m., but man, it was worth it. And, again, 200 episodes, I would totally watch 200 more. I mean, Taylor Thompson, maybe in 7 years, maybe they'll reboot it, which actually was 7 years since At Midnight originally ended, before they came up with After Midnight. So, 2032 would be 7 years from now, at least. I mean, if I may, CBS, clearly what you have is a juggernaut of a great hit show. If you want a new host, why not me? Listen, I'm not famous. I'm not a comedian. I wouldn't be going, if you were to tell me I'm the host of this show, I wouldn't be going anywhere. I would be wherever you tell me to. Not to mention, again, I saw all 600 episodes of the original At Midnight and all 200 episodes of After Midnight. I'm one of the few, if anyone, on the internet who can actually boast that claim. If there's anyone who would know how things are supposed to go, you're looking at him. And CBS would never go for a guy like me. Especially after I just called them out on the whole giving power to flat earthers and being sexist and racist thing earlier. But, you know what? It's worth a shot. Worst thing that happens is they can always simply say no. Granted, it's very glaring what they did, but you know what? It is what it is. To all the comedians that were on that show, you guys were all phenomenal. You were awesome. You guys made me laugh. Sometimes even crying laughing. To Gillian Jacobs, Paul F. Tompkins, and Marcelo Guerrero, thank you for being the three comedians in this finale. Would it have been funny with anyone else? Maybe. But it wouldn't have been you guys. And I think that's how it should have been. Paul F. Tompkins is one of my all-time favorite comedians, and he in both sets of At Midnight, After Midnight, he's one of the greatest to do it. So Paul F. Tompkins, I hope whatever you do next, I hope to see it happen, and I can't wait to see it myself. I'm sure there's probably ways to watch all the episodes of that After Midnight. I'm sure they probably got it archived somewhere. If there is, I would recommend you check it out. But yeah, 200 episodes. That's one hell of a run if I ever saw it. I hope you like this video. If you like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, I'm very helping this video for all you guys to watch the show video. We have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Friday. And remember, if you want to talk to me, let me know. Take care. Make good choices. 607 all day, baby. Happy Friday.